Hey everyone, it's Nova here, and for today's video we're going to talk about the recent developments with Star Wars video games. About 2 weeks ago now, Lucasfilm Games announced 2 new gaming partnerships in the form of a new Indiana Jones game as well as a new Star Wars game, both of which are being developed by studios that aren't Electronic Arts. In today's video we're going to talk about what that means for the future of Star Wars games, both present and into the future. Right off the bat, with the game being published by Ubisoft, the first thing we can assume is that the prior exclusivity deal that existed with EA and the rights to Star Wars game is going to expire in 2023. For many players and fans, myself included, this is a godsend. Battlefront 2 eventually became a thriving game after continued updates and support from the developers, one that I still enjoy to this day. And Fallen Order was a step in the right direction. It ultimately seems like it was too little too late for EA. This recent exclusivity era for EA was marred by a lack of games, wasted potential, and controversy regarding microtransactions. In 10 years of exclusivity, we've gotten 4 main titles in Battlefront 1 and 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and Squadrons. Now, I haven't played Squadrons, so I can't speak to its story, but the fact that only 1 out of 4 of these titles was a single-player, story-driven experience doesn't bode well for EA's profile. To put it simply, EA squandered the bag on this deal. Star Wars has always been an IP where the saying, if you make it, they will come applies. However, the caveat to that is that you have to make it good. This is even more true when games like the original Battlefront, Knights of the Old Republic, and Jedi Outcast are shining examples of how you do the games right. Now, in defense of EA, 5 words I really never want to repeat again, it wasn't all their fault. There was that weird mandate when Lucasfilm was trying to make every piece of media canon, and therefore they claimed they couldn't put prequel-era heroes in the first Battlefront because I guess gamers weren't smart enough to tell the difference. Thankfully, they realized how idiotic that logic was in the second game, so who even knows if that mandate was true in the first place. They also had to deal with the general mess that was the beginning of the Disney Star Wars era, where they were clearly just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. However, at the end of the day, probably about 90% of the blame falls on EA, both for the lack of games and the quality of the ones that we have received. And with The Mandalorian's success and the Star Wars IP back on the rise, it's clear that Disney and Lucasfilm are tired of sitting on their hands and are finally doing what they should have done all along. So what does all of this mean for the future of Star Wars games? Currently, we know that we're getting an open world game from the developers of The Division 2 and published by Ubisoft, which honestly, this doesn't make me as excited as it could. The Division 2, while a great looking game, was a step back for the franchise in a lot of ways. It's also a live service game, which makes me a bit cautious of what type of Star Wars game this will end up being. Not to mention, Ubisoft has recently been criticized for their heavy aggression on microtransactions. However, trying to remain positive, if it does turn out to be a game similar in style to The Division, at least they aren't making the same mistake that the Avengers did and tasking a studio who has no experience with this genre to make it. What really excites me about this news is the fact that in the coming years, we are more likely to see Lucasfilm Games working with various developers and publishers to push out Star Wars content. Again, with the caveat being that it is good and high quality Star Wars content. Personally, I'm hoping for more single player games that tell new stories in the Star Wars universe. While Star Wars 1313 will never see the light of day, it's an example that there are stories to be told outside the narrative of the movies or strictly being about the Sith versus the Jedi. It might be a long shot, but I would also love for them to get back the rights for Knights of the Old Republic in order to create a remaster or remake for current systems. There are also new rumors that a Knights of the Old Republic game is underway at a studio that isn't EA. Honestly, I take this news with trepidation. KOTOR is such a treasured franchise in the minds of gamers that I don't know if a new installment can ever be done right. However, given that it's apparently being done by a new studio, there's always a chance that it's being made by people who were fans of the original games and will give it the treatment it deserves. On this front, I suppose only time will tell. For EA, I imagine they will continue with the Jedi Fallen Order franchise and Battlefront 3 if they want to make it, which is fine with me, especially given where Battlefront 2 left off, as long as they avoid another microtransaction scandal. In all, I think any fan of Star Wars games should be hopeful about what this news means for the future of Star Wars games. What do you guys think? Are you excited for the upcoming titles, or are you more on the cautious side? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys next time.